Why did I even bother? Why did I even bother to watch this film? Why did I even bother? I have better things to do. This review/rant is sponsored by Universal Pictures' The Boss, starring Melissa McCarthy, which opens everywhere April 8th. My birthday. And though Melissa McCarthy has been very hit or miss for me over the years, I won't deny that this film actually looks very entertaining and a whole lot of fun. Like, the concept is outright hilarious, and the trailers actually had me laughing throughout. And if you would like to see the trailers for yourself, there'll be a link in the description that'll send you straight to the trailers for The Boss. And now, on to the rage! Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy here with the late movie review, or shall I say rant, on the film The Divergent Series, Allegiant. So Allegiant follows Tris and the gang as they escape from Chicago to find the people beyond the wall. They discover them and join their ranks, but slowly begin to realize that maybe these people aren't who they say they are. There's something off-putting, malicious, and outright creepy about this group, as if we've never seen that before in a freaking film, especially a young adult novel-based film. Meanwhile, back in Chicago, there's this big uprising against the factionalists led by Naomi Watts' character, and this new group called Allegiant, led by Octavia Spencer's character, and they're about to go to war, and it's up to Tris and the gang to stop war from breaking out. Oh, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had very low expectations for Allegiant. After the disappointment of Insurgent last year and the oversaturation of these shitty young adult novel-based films in the market, I just had no faith in this franchise anymore, and I'm sick and tired of this fucking genre. And you know what? I was absolutely right to have low expectations, because this film sucks. It is a terrible, god-awful, and forgettable mess of a film. It is the worst installment in this franchise so far. I have not seen such a promising franchise deteriorate as fast as the Divergent series has. It's kind of tragic. Breathe, Tony. Just calm down. Let's think of all the good qualities that this film has to offer now. There are actually some good action sequences here and there, especially the ones dealing with 4. Like, that guy can kick a whole lot of ass. He was pretty awesome, especially when he's doing hand-to-hand combat. Man, he is fast and he is rough. It was actually pretty thrilling to watch. And I'm surprised that this Theo James has not been casted to be like an action star yet. He has the looks, he has the strength, and he has the body. Just make it happen. Give him an action franchise. Don't bring him back for this series. It's killing his career. And out of all the actors in the film, I enjoyed Miles Teller the most. He might not have given the best performance, but he was the only person in the entire film that was actually trying to have fun with his role. Everyone was so serious and stern and, oh, let me give this menacing look, or let me give you this creepy look. They took it way too seriously, and Miles Teller was just like, you know what? This is a shit box anyway. Let me just have fun with it. You know, I've got to do one more movie like this. Fuck it. I'll just be me on set. I'll be me. And honestly, that's what made him stand out the most, and that's what made him so much fun. Just seeing him try to talk and communicate with people, be snarky, and just come up with these one-liners and all that stuff. I enjoyed his character, even though he's kind of an asshole in the film. And you know what? Those two are the only good things that I took away from this film. The rest, complete schlock. The biggest problem with Allegiant is that from the get-go, from the start of this film, it was painfully obvious that no one, absolutely no one involved in the making of this film gave 2 or even half a shit to make a solid film. Everything about this film is half-assed to the extreme. To the story, the direction, the visual effects, the makeup, the sets, to even the performances from each and every one of the actors and actresses. Nobody cared to at least do a decent job in what they needed to do. Like, the story is all jumbled and fumbled all over the place, and there are so many plot moments that don't get fleshed out enough for you to actually get attached to the situation or actually care about what's happening. Like, there's a war that's about to break out in this film, and I barely cared about it because it barely got any focus, and there wasn't really any real build-up to it. It just comes out of nowhere like, we're going to war. I'm like, the fuck, how did we end up here? And why is there a war breaking out? And why isn't that getting enough focus and attention? Why are they fleshing this conflict between these two groups out? Hell, there's a group in the film literally called Allegiant, the title of this film, and they don't even get that much attention given to them. In the entirety of the film, a 2-hour film, they get maybe two 2-minute scenes. That's it. Two 2-minute scenes in a 2-hour movie that's named after them. They are Allegiant, and they don't even get a lot of focus in the damn film. It's Charlotte all over again. And adding to the half-assedness of the story, there are a multitude of conflicts that are brought up in the film, and you may think I'm going to complain by saying that makes the film seem very cluttered, and you're right, it does make the film seem very cluttered, and there are some conflicts that could have easily been taken out because they didn't need enough focus. But I will say this, had they been given enough time and focus, it could have been very interesting and lead to some enriching character development. But no, they just fast track through all of these conflicts and resolve them in like a minute. Like, the war that happens in the film, you know, this big climactic battle that's about to go down gets solved because Triss is like, oh, this other group is gonna attack us, we need to make peace. Okay, we'll make peace. And at the end of the film, they're all together. It's all happy times. Hell, even after the gas attack happens, everyone goes out like, oh, what a lovely day. It's nice. It's not like we were having a war earlier. Jesus, they even half-assed the continuity. There are also many personal conflicts among the characters that would have been very interesting to see had they delved into them and given them more focus. But no, they decided to just resolve them in an instant as if there wasn't a problem to begin with. Like, Four and his mother actually reconcile near the end of the film after she gets shot and there's the toxin all over the place, and now all is forgiven, you know? Forgive and forget, Mom. I love you now. Even though there's been years and years of resentment and hatred and neglect between the two, no, it just gets resolved in an instant. We're okay now. We're gonna be a family now, Mom. There's also this conflict between Triss and her brother. Now, in the second movie, Triss's brother betrays Triss, and it caused this kind of schism between them here in the third movie. They play it up a lot in the film, but it leads nowhere because the development of them bonding back together, you just don't buy it. The direction of the film is lazy and uninspired. The director is literally just doing this for a paycheck. I feel like he's just sitting on set like, I can't believe I have to direct 2 more of these films. Okay, just roll the camera and whatever you get, we'll just use. I really don't give a fuck anymore. I'm just gonna sit here and just wait for the production to wrap. Is it over yet? The visuals in the film range from being half decent to really, that's the best you could do? Man, that looks horrible. Take that shit off the screen. Like, I'm not even kidding. There's a scene where Ansel Elgort's character is using like this security system that can monitor the entire city of Chicago. And it has this whole like pixelated effect to make it seem like a camera, which stylistically is interesting, but it's just not visually appealing. And then there's this shot where he's standing, he's like, huh, I'm in the city. And this train is about to hit him and he's like, oh, and then it passes through him and it's just like little pixelated dots. And it looked really ugly, guys. I was like, really? You guys gave that a pass? That is embarrassing. Embarrassing. It looked god awful. I couldn't believe it. At that moment, it just confirmed the fact that they just didn't care anymore. They just like, okay, I mean, it looks half-assed, it looks terrible, but you know what? I don't care. Just put it in the film. I don't want to put any extra effort into making that visual look freaking awesome. Who cares? And Ansel Elgort, he's just like standing there in front of a green screen like, oh, I'm okay. Okay, cool, yeah. It's not like I'm standing in front of a green screen right now. Woo, acting! And speaking of acting, my goodness, I have never seen so many talented actors and actresses be completely wasted in a film. both in the figurative sense and the literal sense, as I feel like many of them probably got drunk before shooting began so that they could have just a little bit more fun with what they're doing, as the film was just completely dull to do. I mean, a lot of their performances are so half-assed, it looked like they didn't even care anymore. Like they're just going through the motion like the director. Octavia Spencer, Naomi Watts, Shailene Woodley, Theo James, Miles Teller, Ansel Elgort, anybody that's involved in this film, they all were just like, man, why even put the effort? This film is gonna be terrible. Let me just, yes, I'm acting, ain't I acting? Ain't I convincing? And finally, the characters. Didn't give a single fuck about any of them. Characters died in this film, guys, and I was like, whatever. It's not like I actually cared about that character to begin with. Maggie Q's character dies early on in the film. Oh, spoiler alert, Maggie Q's character dies in the film. You don't fucking care. You don't care that Maggie Q's character died in the film because you never cared about the character to begin with. What about Maggie Q's character ever stood out in the entirety of this series? She was never given any development, never given any focus. You really don't give a shit about her character, and when she dies, you're like, oh, wow, she died. I don't care. I don't care. Why are we still in the scene? Move on. Hell, it even seemed like the characters didn't really care that Maggie Q's character died. And she's supposed to be like this integral character, like almost like the Cinna to Shailene Woodley's character, but she just like, whoop, dead. Never see her again. What a fucking waste with that character. She could have been cool. Not only that, the setup to her death moment is so cliche and so blatantly obvious. Like, just how they even framed it is like, oh, she's obviously gonna die. Yup. They just shot her in the back. I really struggled to care about any of these characters and their dilemmas and their struggles. I didn't care. I really didn't care, guys. I didn't give a fuck. Hell, even the new characters are so forgettable and so pointless. You don't need them in the film. Like, there's this one soldier girl who's like this hard ass and kind of is forming a bond with Thor, but you never feel a bond growing between them. And apparently, she has resentment towards the head guy named Dave in this building, this organization that she's a part of. And that was like out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. She's like, you're not the only one that has a problem with Dave. When did you have any resentment towards Dave? When was that ever built up? I mean, if they built it up and kind of showed some hints that there was like growing animosity inside this group, it would have made sense. But it literally comes out of nowhere. Like, she helps them out and then she walks away and then there's no repercussion for her actions. That was the most jarring thing about that. They let her help them and then, oh, it's fine, don't worry, don't mess with her. Overall, guys, this film is atrocious. And I'm getting really sick and tired of the Divergent series because it just keeps getting worse and worse with each new installment. Just put it out of its misery already. Lay it to rest. Nobody cares about this series. Hell, even the people behind the making of this film don't care about this series. So just end it already. Nobody cares. I don't care that this installment ends on a cliffhanger. Nobody cares to see the resolution anyway. This series had so much potential to be as good or even better than its contemporaries, but it failed to reach that potential and just turned out to be a huge embarrassment and disgrace. And that's why I'm gonna give this film a 1 out of 5 stars. It's an unnecessary waste of time, and I don't even know why I wasted my time doing this review. You all knew this film was bad. It's been out for more than a week. You probably either seen it or heard reviews. It's terrible. But I just had to throw in my 2 cents, and it's bad. But anyway, what did you guys think of this film? Was there anybody out there that actually enjoyed this film, got a kick out of it, or you're like me and found it incredibly disappointing and lackluster? Who really gives a shit about the Divergent series anymore? And let me know, what is the most disappointing series, book, movie, TV show, anime you have ever seen? Comment below, let me know. Until then, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel and be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm Tony the second, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.